So we're gonna make yogurt in the Instant Pot. I have filled the milk up to the max line. And then I have a 6-quart 7-in-1, and on mine I go yogurt. Yours might have slightly different buttons. Yogurt, adjust, and now I'm gonna leave it. Put the lid on, which you don't even have to put the lid on for this, but I just do so nothing gets in the milk. So it's gonna scald the milk for me and beep when it is ready. So my yogurt button went, for the timer, I should say, and you got a couple options here. One, you could just take this off and leave it. 2, you could take this pot out and let it cool down. 3, you could take this pot out and put it in cold water and it will cool down real quick. But the first thing you actually need to do is check that it actually came up to the right temperature, because I'm finding that my Instant Pot doesn't always kick it up to the right temperature. And so my yogurt wasn't working out. And if it doesn't, like right here, it's 154, which actually, this has been sitting here for probably an hour. So it probably was higher. So I'm gonna just turn it on to saute. And in just a couple minutes, it will be up where I want it. Keep an eye on it because it's easy to boil it over on that saute function. Ask me how I know that. So my milk is up to temperature 185. Didn't take long, a few minutes. And now I've got it in the sink. I'm actually going to fill it with cold water to speed up cooling down, as I want to get this culturing as quick as I can. So my milk is cooled down and I've got about 5 liters here. So I've got plain yogurt. This is from a previous batch. You can use store-bought stuff too. I hear you, Freya. You have a bug bite, yes. I'm gonna put approximately 5 tablespoons of this in here. So a tablespoon per liter. And then I'm gonna whisk it around to get it all combined. So now you've got a couple options. You can pop this insert back in the Instant Pot and set it to culture. But I don't recommend doing this unless you plan to strain the yogurt, because every time so once it had cultured in here, you'd have to scoop it into containers, and every time you scoop it, it's gonna get a little runnier, and also it introduces outside bacteria, so it will go bad faster. I mean, it'll still last weeks, but it will last like weeks and weeks and weeks if you culture it in the container you plan to keep it in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour this into jars and I'm gonna culture it in my dehydrator. But you can also just do it right in the Instant Pot thing, and that's when I usually end up straining it, and then like I did with this one, putting it into a container. So I took the trays out of my dehydrator and I have it, all the milk in here. Put cover on, and you can't really see it there, but I'm gonna set it to 105 and I'm gonna set it for 6 hours. So the dehydrator is done. This finished about midnight and it's 7 a.m. So it's already been cooling down in here. You can see it's yogurt. It will not be super thick, like it'll be thick right now, but once it's been chilled in the fridge, it will get super thick. So I'll show you what it looks like after it's been chilled. So I just took this out of the fridge. I used some in a smoothie for Marius for his lunch. And this is nice, thick, creamy yogurt. It's not super tangy because I had some complaints from Marius about how tangy my yogurt was. So I've been culturing it for less time to make it less tangy. And it's so good. I made him a smoothie with frozen peaches and yogurt and milk. Like the simplest smoothie ever. He takes it in a thermos at work because he's working and it's really hot on the roof right now and he doesn't have much of an appetite, but he can often still down a smoothie, so at least he gets something in him.